My name is Ken Ritz, and I'm going to be talking today about how to do time value of money problems. And I'm going to be using Excel to show you, although you can do the same thing with Financial Calculator by just putting in the same settings or entering the same numbers as we'll be putting into Excel. And the way to start every time value of money problem is always the same. You create this little box here. Okay, you've got the interest rate per year, number of periods, future value, present value, and PMT stands for payment. Okay, you will not always fill in all of those boxes with numbers, but this is the way to start every problem. So make yourself a little box. Okay, and then you start putting in numbers. So for our first problem, we're going to assume that I want to be a millionaire by the time I was 52 and I just graduated college at 22. So how much would I have to invest today to have $1 million in 30 years if I were able to earn 10% a year? So you just start putting in the information you know. First of all, you know 10% a year is your interest rate. So you put that in. Number of periods is 30. Okay, 30 years. The future value, the amount that you want to have in 30 years, is $1 million. Okay, so now you need to calculate your present value. Okay, so how do you do that? I put that box in yellow just so that we can see that's what I'm calculating for. In this case, by the way, there is no payment. Okay, you're not putting in money every single year for the next 30 years. No, you're just making one investment right at the start. Okay, so payment is just going to be blank. But the present value is what we're calculating for. So once I select that yellow box there, I go up to this FX button or function button, and now I need to find PV. Okay, it happens to be near the top on my list. You might have to scroll down a little to find PV, depending. Okay, but once you select it, you hit OK, and it brings up another box. Okay. And it's very easy from this point on, since you've already created this box, your rate, you know, is 10%. So you just click on that and it automatically puts the number in there. Click on number of periods and then click over here on 30. There is no payment, so we leave that blank. You click on the FV box here, click on $1 million, puts that in automatically, and then you hit OK, and it solves it for you instantly. Okay, so the amount that you would have to put in today in order to have $1 million in 30 years would be $57,308.55. Okay, and you'll notice it's a negative amount because you have to put that amount in today in order to get back $1 million in 30 years. So it's negative because it's like you're taking it out of your wallet, you're giving it away today, but you're going to get it back in 30 years. And then it's going to be a positive number. Okay, so let's do another example here. In this situation, we're going to take the same numbers, basically, same problem. We want $1 million in 30 years, but instead of one upfront payment or investment, let's find out how much you'd have to put in each year to get to that $1 million. So same thing, same start. We put in our interest rate at 10%. Our number of periods is 30. Our future value is $1 million. This time, though, we're solving for the payment box here, okay? Because we want to figure out how many payments or how much the payments would have to be for the next 30 years to get up to $1 million. Okay, so same thing. You click on your yellow box there and go up to the FX button. This time, though, you're looking for the PMT function or the payment function, and you hit OK. And now you just put in your numbers again. So interest rate, we know that's 10%, number of periods, 30. The present value stays blank. The future value is $1 million, and you hit OK. And there it is. Your payment is a negative $6,079.25. And again, it's negative because you have to invest that amount every year. It's like you're taking it out of your wallet, putting it into that investment, so it's negative, but then you get back $1 million at the end of 30 years. Okay, let's do a third problem. Now, using the same interest rate and time, how much would your $25,000 graduation gift be worth at retirement? If you invested it all right now for the next 30 years, how much are you going to have then? Okay, so same start, 10%, 30 years. The present value, I'm sorry, let's get rid of these numbers so it's not confusing. Your future value is what you're solving for because you want to find out how much it's going to be worth in 30 years. And your present value is a negative 25,000 because you're going to take your 25,000 gift that you got and take it out of your pocket, put it into that investment, and it's negative 25,000. Okay, so we're solving for future value. Go up to the FX button here, find FV, hit OK, start putting in our numbers. Rate is 10%, number of periods 30, your present value is a negative 25,000. You hit OK, and you find out if you invest that $25,000 graduation gift right now for the next 30 years at 10%, you're going to end up with $436,235.06. Okay. Now let's go. Let's say you get the choice between choosing $50,000 today or $5,000 for the next 30 years. Which would you choose, assuming an interest rate of 10%? Now, if you just look at this at face value, you might say, well, duh, I'm going to take the 5,000 for the next 30 years because 5,000 times 30, that's $150,000. I would choose that rather than taking 50,000 now. Well, not so fast. Let's figure this out. First, let's put in our numbers like we always do. The interest rate per year, 10%. Number of years, 30. Okay. The payment is $5,000 a month. Okay, because we want to figure out how much it's going to be worth if we get $5,000 or $5,000 a year for the next 30 years, and we're figuring out the present value of that flow of money, the $5,000 a year for the next 30 years. Okay, so we click there, we go to FX here, present value. Okay, we get our little box here, we just start putting in the numbers. Rate 10%, number of periods 30. The payment is a negative 5,000, and we hit OK, and we find out the present value of that flow of money is only 47,135. So you would be better off taking the 50,000 today rather than that series of payments of 5,000 a year, because that series of payments is only worth 47,135. Okay, next problem. Say you need 100,000 per year after retirement to survive. That's a pretty nice survival rate, 100,000 a year, but you want to go on a lot of cruises and buy nice cars. So you need 100,000 a year. How much do you need at retirement in order to be able to invest that and live for 15 years at 100,000 a year if you can get an interest rate of 6%? Okay. We start out the same way. We know in this case our interest rate is 6%. Our, I'm sorry, we got these backed up here. The number of periods is 15. I just put the labels in wrong. Okay. So the interest rate is 6%. The number of periods is 15 years in this case. And we have a payment of $100,000. In other words, you're going to be getting $100,000 per year for 15 years. Okay, so that's your payment is $100,000. You want to know what's the present value. In other words, what do you have to start with in order to invest it and get that amount? So we go to the FX button, PV. We put in our rate, 6%, number of periods, 15. Our payment is negative 100,000, hit OK, and we find out, okay, you have to start out with $971,225 at retirement in order to be able to take out 100,000 a year after that and have enough to last for 15 years. Okay, next problem here. Let's say you have 500,000 saved by retirement, and you think you're going to need money annually for 10 years. How much can you pull out each year if you're earning 8%? Okay, so in other words, what yearly income is going to give me a $500,000 retirement fund for 10 years? Okay, so you know your interest rate is 8%, number of years is 10, your present value is $500,000, okay? And how much can you pull out per year if you're earning 8%? So that's a payment function because you're pulling out money every single year. So to solve for that, we go up to the FX, find the payment function, hit OK, start filling in our box, 8% interest rate, number of periods 10. The present value is 500,000, and we hit OK. We find out, okay, how much can you pull out each year? $74,514.74. That's going to be your yearly income if you start with a $500,000 retirement fund and want to pull that money out over 10 years at an interest rate of 8%. Okay, one more problem here. Let's say you have $500,000 to invest for retirement. You want it to be $1 million in 20 years. So what interest rate are you going to need to get? Okay, this one's a little bit different because this time we're actually solving for interest rate instead of one of the others, payment, present value, future value, etc. So what interest rate do we need to grow 500,000 to $1 million over 20 years? Okay, so start by entering in your information. You know it's 20 years. You know that you want it to grow to $1 million. That's your future value. You know that you are going to put in 500,000 now, so it's a negative 500,000 present value, and there's no payment because you're not paying money every single year. You're just putting in that 500,000 initially. Okay, so now we're going to solve for interest rate. So we go up to our function button here, and now we need to find rate. Okay, and I don't see it in my list here. I'm scrolling down a little bit. I still don't see it. So what you can do is just use the search function in Excel, put in rate, hit enter, and there it is right there. So I select that rate function, and then I just fill my information. Number of periods is 20, future value is $1 million, present value is negative 500,000, okay, and we find out that I need a rate of 3.53% in order to grow my 500,000 to $1 million over 20 years. Okay, let's do a few more problems. Say I want to buy a car with cash in 5 years. I have $15,000 now, and I can earn 4% on that money. How much will I have after 5 years so that I can buy a car with it? Okay, so we're going to erase some of these things here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with our little box here. We know we have 4% interest rate. Number of periods is 5 years. The present value, I have 15,000 now. Okay, so and again, it's a negative because you're going to take that 15,000 out of your pocket. You're going to put it into an investment, but then get it back with the future value later. So we solve for future value, hit FX, and find FV here. Okay, and hit OK. Then just start filling in the box. 4% for the rate, 5 for the number of periods, and your present value is 15 million, or I'm sorry, 15,000. Okay, and so you hit OK, and you find out, okay, my future value is 18,250. That's how much I'm going to have available to spend on my car in 5 years. Right, so let's go to the next one. Now I want to buy a house in 5 years. I need a $30,000 down payment by that time, and I know I can earn 4%. So how much do I need to invest today to get to my $30,000 down payment in 5 years? Okay, so we put in the numbers. 4%, 5 years, 30,000 is your future value that you want to have, and you're figuring out what present value do you need. to invest today. Okay, so you go up to the FX button, find your present value function. Okay, start putting in your numbers. You know it's 4% for your interest rate, 5 years. Your future value is 30,000. Hit OK. And there it is. You need to invest $24,000, $657.81 today if you want to have your $30,000 down payment in 5 years at a rate of 4%. Okay, one more question here. Say you have $25,000 of student debt, and it's financed for 5 years at 3%. Okay, what is the payment going to be on your student debt? Okay, so now this one gets a little bit tricky because this one, your debt is a monthly payment. Okay, not a yearly payment, but a monthly payment. All the problems we've been doing up to this point have been yearly payments, but this is monthly. And so you have to change a couple things. Okay, if it's financed at 3%, you have to divide the 3% annual interest rate by 12 to get a monthly interest rate. Okay, so over here I just hit equals 3% divided by 12, and I find out my monthly interest rate is a 0.25%. I've also got to change the number of periods because it's not 5 years anymore. Now it's monthly payments, so it's 5 years times 12 months per year. So my number of periods is actually 60 now. It's 12 times 5. Okay, so once you've adjusted those, and you have to do that every time you have monthly payments, so don't forget about that. Okay, once you've done that, then you know you've got a present value of negative 25,000. That's what you owe. And so now you want to calculate your payment. So you can select or click on the yellow payment box there, hit FX, go to your payment function. Okay, now you just fill in the rate, 0.25%. Number of periods is 60. The present value is a minus 25,000. Hit OK. And there you go. Your payment is going to be $449.22. All right. I hope this has helped you. Have a great day.